Inside the stories that affect you. This is Inside Keloland.
Thanks for joining us and welcome to Inside Keloland. Are you struggling to come up with the perfect gift for a loved one who has everything? Well, this year, you might want to make a donation in their name to people in need. On this evening's Inside Keloland, we visit with several organizations that make it their mission to help those struggling through tough times, those who may be new to this country or find themselves without their loved ones during the holiday season. Plus, an update on our partnership with Lewis Drug for Operation Keep Keloland Warm. Well, picking out the perfect gift and preparing a big family meal may come to mind for many people this holiday season. For others, something else may be on their mind, like finding enough money to heat their home. Joining us today to talk about the Holiday Utility Fund is Dane Block with Community Outreach. Thanks for being on with us.
Thank you.
Well, first of all, what is the mission of Community Outreach?
Well, Community Outreach exists to come together with people to share hope and to provide tools for daily living. Our goal is to make sure that everybody who comes into our door is safely and affordably housed. And we do that thinking that stability is the key to making sure that everybody is capable of moving on with their lives. If people who are stable in their housing are also stable in their employment. People who are stable in their housing also have kids who are stable in school. So we see that stability is the key to making sure that people are self-sufficient.
I think that's very interesting because I think a lot of us think about the temporary shelters as helping, and they do, but is the goal, like you said, to make them self-sufficient?
Our goal is permanent and affordable housing. We do have our clients take advantage of temporary shelters, especially when they're looking for an employment. But when they find employment, they can come to us, and we can help them with that first month's rent or deposit to make sure that they're in a safe and affordable situation.
And we're talking about this holiday fund, the Holiday Utility Fund. So why is this needed?
Well, the Holiday Assistance Fund, the Holiday Utility Fund, was started about 4 years ago. And it was born on the idea that during the winter season, as we've seen this month, gas prices, heating oil prices, electricity prices go up. It's harder to heat your home. And when you're in a cold home, it's just not safe. So we come together trying to bring a focus to this need. So we focused on getting this awareness out to this type of assistance.
And because when you think about it, I mean, those folks who do have homes, they're not necessarily warm if they're having to worry about, I can't pay my heating bill because I have to buy groceries or I have to take care of my children. Is that a big concern in the area?
Correct. So a lot of our clients come into us on a fixed income or on a minimum wage income. And what we see at this point in time is when their electricity bill or their heating bill goes up dramatically, that pushes people who are already living paycheck to paycheck past that break. They have to start making decisions, well, am I going to pay my heat, or am I going to buy groceries, or am I going to stay in my apartment, or am I going to keep my car running to get to and from work? So
this has been helping, for, like you said, for a number of years. Can we put a face on that? Can you think of any of these stories where you've met someone who has benefited from this?
Yeah, we do like to say that every time we can keep somebody's lights on or heat going is a success. We do have one particular one that I always like to share, and his story is actually on our website as well, so if people would like to hear his entire story, they can visit our website. But this young kid, actually I say kid because he was 20 years old at the time, he came into us one day looking for help with a quart of oil. And we thought that was really kind of a strange request. But after digging into his need just a little bit more, we realized that he was actually living in his car.
Oh, wow.
So he was bouncing around between county parks, between city parks, the bathrooms in city parks, living there in his car in a parking lot. So he comes to us, his engine's completely blown out. We are able to help him through our Genesis program, which is our financial mentoring program, help him obtain stable employment, and through this fund, get a utility set up for him in his new apartment. Between now and about a year ago, when he actually finished the program, he is now stably housed. He's not in danger of being evicted. He's stably employed. He's been with the same company now for over a year. And he has a pretty cool story if you'd like to look at our website for that.
Yeah, he goes in just for a seemingly simple request, and because of this fund, he's doing well. That's great.
Absolutely. It's a sad story, but it's also uplifting because it shows the need for people and our need for assistance in our community. His mother had left him in his apartment by himself as a teenager. He got evicted from that apartment, moved into a city park bathroom, lived there for several months. Bounced between friends' house, and then finally ended up in his car in the parking lot of a church here in the northeast part of town.
So how does one qualify for something like this? How do they reach out and say, I need help?
Well, our goal is not to be an agency that says yes or no. We operate on guidelines, not hard and fast rules. One of our principles is to fill in the gaps where employment and traditional assistance don't make the cut. So we don't say that you're making too much money for assistance. The one thing that we do look at is if we are able to help you with this month, will you come in and meet with us so we can work out a budget, so we can teach you how to budget your funds for next month. We're all about maintaining that self-sufficient aspect. We don't want to take responsibility for somebody's bills. We want to help them have responsibility for their own actions and lives and accounts.
And I know all the folks at home are wondering, how do I help? How do I donate? How do they do that?
Absolutely. You can visit our website. It's thecommunityoutreach.org/give. Otherwise, we also do have our annual fundraiser, Christmas for a Cause, coming up on December 12th at the Orpheum. We're pleased to be partnering with the Browns Branson group, a family gospel group, who puts on a fantastic show for that event.
Well, very good. And then before we go to break, I wanted to touch on one more thing. You mentioned the mentoring program. That's another big success story. Yeah,
Genesis is our financial education and mentoring program where we take our participants, match them up with volunteer mentors for an 18-week mentorship program. Our goal every year is to put 60 families through this program, and this year we're going to hit that goal. It's incredible to see. This was a United Way initiative of the year several years ago, as we are a United Way partner. And people come through, and it's just amazing to see the lives that are touched through this program and how these actually change over the course of 18 weeks and then over the course of a year as they have professional case management added to their lives.
Well, very good. Well, thank you so much for chatting with us.
Thank you.
Well, up next, how you can help someone who's new to the United States. Inside Keloland, we'll be right back. Welcome back to Inside Keloland. Imagine for a second living in a country where there's constant fighting and an endless fear for your own safety. Now imagine being in a new, safer country. Well, that's the case for many refugees who have found a way to leave their homeland and are now creating a new home here in Keloland. To make that adjustment a little easier, a program called Refugee Christmas is here to help. Joining us today to talk about these efforts is Christine Wall. Thanks for being with us.
It's a pleasure to be here.
So first of all, I want to talk about the being a refugee, because going to a completely new place, you don't know the language or the customs, necessarily. What kind of challenges does that create?
Oh, there are so many challenges. Some are getting used to modern technology. They've come from very small villages, so they're learning to use appliances in their homes, learning the bus system, which is so different than other places. Others have come from more modern, and they're engineers and doctors, so it's a little bit easier, but they're still learning so much.
And just like anyone else, there are folks who could use a helping hand. So when it comes to Refugee Christmas, how did that get its start?
Well, this program has been spearheaded by one of our longtime volunteers, Pat Reichert. She's been doing it for years and years. But it began as a way to bring joy to those who had recently arrived to Sioux Falls. Having lived their lives in fear of persecution and being harmed, many of them have not had much to be joyous about, and we hope to change that. So we partner with different organizations and businesses and individuals in the community to help provide gifts. Some of our recent businesses and organizations have been like Augustina College, First Lutheran Church, and even the Ghosts of Christmas.
Who does this help? Is there a certain age range or anything?
It's a wide age range. We have individuals who are barely a year old up to over 100 years old.
That is quite the range.
It is.
How do you make sure you get everything you need to help, a baby to someone who's elderly?
Well, our aim is for practical gifts, things like coats and hats and boots of any size are great. Books to practice reading are wonderful, beginner books. School supplies even, household items like dishes and towels. Even something as simple as disposable diapers are much appreciated.
So when you look at that list, you think about how many people get these very extravagant Christmas gifts, and I think we tend to become kind of materialistic. These are just basic things, and like you said, the goal is to just help them feel a sense of joy. How simple is that?
It's wonderful, and just the joy it brings to their face, the smiles, getting a gift from a complete stranger, and how welcoming it makes them feel after their lives on the run.
Do you get to see a lot of that? Do you a lot of the face-to-face appreciation? I imagine it must be emotional.
I do. This is the best part of my job, is getting to go into their homes and seeing the smiles and the thank yous and the hugs and the tears from everyone. I was recently at a home and I brought some gloves and hats to these 2 little girls, and they were just so excited. They immediately had to put on the gloves and the hat. They marched around showing them off to Grandma and Grandpa, and then they refused to take them off for the rest of the day, which is just, it made my day. It was wonderful.
Well, you have to get Grandma and Grandpa's approval when you get something.
Of course, of course. They have to give the okay.
That's just awesome. So how do people at home help?
Well, if you want to get involved, you can bring donations to our downtown office. It's at 114 South Main Avenue, Suite 100. Just look for the LSS, Center for New Americans sign. And we do ask that the gifts be unwrapped or in gift bags, so our staff is able to sort them and hand them out appropriately.
And is that, and then thinking about how the donations are distributed, you know, nuts and bolts of that, how do you reach out to these families? And you talked about going, you know, into their homes and stuff. Is that the biggest part of it? That
is. We basically get to play Santa. We get to go with our bags with all the presents and knock on their doors, surprise them, and hand them out. Oftentimes we get tea and cookies while we're there, so it's a fun time.
Oh, good deal. And how does the community react to this? I feel like we live in a very helpful region. What's the response that you get?
Oh, it's been wonderful. We've had so many people help with coats and hats and boots, which were so appreciative, and especially with our mentoring program too, where community members are matched up with a new family who's arrived within the last 6 months to just help them with little things like show them around parks, answer some questions that might not be normal things taught about American culture.
It doesn't take a lot to have a big impact, that's for sure.
It doesn't.
Well, thank you so much for being on with us. We appreciate it.
Well,
just ahead, what you can do to make someone who is in the nursing home's day a little brighter. We'll be right back. As you scurry around from one holiday event to another and shop for everyone on your list, you may also want to take time to pick up an item for the Tree of Love. Joining us now to share details on this special event is Lisa Howard from Active Generations.
Hi.
Hi. Thanks for being on with us.
Thank you for having me.
You have some props, I see. So I want to know what these are.
I brought ornaments that you'll find displayed on our Tree of Love. And so these are requests from nursing home residents, some of the things that they are looking for under the Christmas tree this year.
Yeah. And I'm looking at some of these things, and I don't see anything like iPhones or a vacation in Florida. I'm seeing some very basic things. What do these folks ask for?
Exactly. It's just amazing that the smallest things make the biggest difference. But just simple items. We have socks and blankets. We have long T-shirts, things that make their everyday life more comfortable in the nursing home. But then some fun things. This person wants a calendar, a farm calendar. So maybe he was a farmer in his before he retired and was in the nursing home. Yeah. So the staff at the nursing homes try to make them personal and the things that they need and would like.
Because I'm sure a lot of us have heard of the angel tree, and that focuses on children.
Exactly.
But why is something like this focusing on, you know, our elderly friends? Why is this important?
Well, you know, Active Generations, our mission is older adults and families in the community. So it was just a logical fit for us to get involved. We have a team of volunteers that do this and meet the needs of the nursing home residents. But so many of them don't have family in the community. So many of them are in Medicaid, so their resources are limited. So it's a great way to help those people and make sure they're not forgotten.
And so being on Medicaid or you know, possibly having a fixed income or stuff like that, I mean, you know, the farm calendar, Milky Way candy bars, you can't get that stuff.
Exactly.
And that makes someone so happy.
Yep. They only get a limited spending money each month, and you know, it goes so fast. So these things are not expensive for maybe you and I, but for them they seem more expensive. So it's an easy way to help them. And
I love how this does help, because tell me how your volunteers get the list that.
Yep, the volunteers and the with the help of the workers at the nursing homes go around and visit with the residents and ask them what they need or what they would like. So again, we try to make it personal. One year we had a lady who asked for a 12-pack of Bud Light. So you know she liked her cold beverages.
Sometimes those are
exactly.
good during the holidays.
Or their interests and hobbies come out. John Wayne videos or music, CD music. So a lot of the nursing home residents enjoy that music. So it's fun to see what they like and get a little personal with them.
What do your volunteers say about getting to visit with them and learn about them?
It's just, they just really appreciate it. The residents, more so than the gift, is just the time they spend delivering it. And so it's so important. Again, so many nursing home residents maybe don't have family in the community to visit them.
And here we have how you can help.
Exactly.
So why don't you tell people where they can go and what they can do?
Yeah, we're so excited to have First National Bank in Sioux Falls as a partner in this project. So the 3 locations downtown, 57th Street and the Western Mall, as well as Active Generations, we all have these displays and trees of love. So you can pick up an ornament anytime. They'll be up. They're up now after Thanksgiving. So we're good to go.
Is that the nice thing? We did touch on this about how this project came about, but recognizing a need for something like this and being able to meet that need, I mean, how important is that?
Again, it's so important that these people realize that people are thinking of them. So, you know, besides buying a present, just think about going caroling as a group or just visiting, adopting our nursing home residents year long. Don't just think of them at the holidays, but think of them all year long. It makes a big difference for them.
They really appreciate just someone visiting or reading to them or conversation. So and then you get to learn a lot.
Oh, they have so many wonderful stories. They can tell you before cell phones, they had the rotary phones, or they had a
the what?
They had to walk to school.
Yeah.
Actually, so yeah, the young people can learn so much. So they have a lot to give.
Yeah. Very nice. Well, thank you so much for sharing this with us.
I hope people get involved.
Yeah, me too. Well, just ahead, an update on our Operation Keep KELOland Warm. Inside Keloland, we'll be right back. Welcome back to Inside Keloland. As we prepare for the holidays, there are many ways you can give back to the community, too. Something as simple as a coat, mittens, or a hat can go a long way in keeping someone warm during our harsh winter. Joining us tonight to talk about Operation Keep KELOland Warm is Nikki Griffin, Lewis Drug's Corporate Vice President. Thanks for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
I want to go back to how this all started because unfortunately, you know, that we had that woman who was homeless who died out in the cold, and this all happened very organically. I had made some calls just trying to find a place that would take adult winter coats, and I called Lewis, and you right away volunteered to have a coat drive. Lewis really stepped up, and this is a big reason why Keep KELOland Warm is going on. So, I mean, you must feel good about that. Why did you step up so quickly?
Well, thank you. I guess just getting that call from you, you know, there was a sense of exigency and urgency in light of the tragedy and the fact that you weren't finding a lot of outreach places that were supporting specifically homeless adults and adults in need of winter apparel. And so when presented with a need, I think it's human nature to want to do something to help if you're in a position to help. So it was exciting to get to put the wheels in motion and work with everybody at Lewis and then with KELO to make it happen.
That's a great thing about Lewis. It's a local company, and you guys can respond to local needs. Are you proud of being with a company like that?
Absolutely. I think that's one of the proudest aspects of it, and it's really fun and rewarding to be a part of that, and we have a great team of people that work really, really hard to make things like this happen, and it's part of the benefit and the responsibility of being a local community-based business to make sure that you give back and work with that community.
And this coat drive, the response that the community has given us is just tremendously powerful. Coats are coming in, everything's coming in so quickly. How does that type of response of the community stepping up and saying we want to help, how does that make you feel?
I had confidence that it would be successful because I know that people are good and we live in a great community, but it surpassed my expectations and it surprised me in big ways in terms of the volume and the momentum, and in little ways in terms of, you know, the personal stories and the human interactions. Like, all around, just a really great positive surprise.
Right, and those human interactions, I mean, we got to, at a coat giveaway that we recently had, we got to interact with some of the people who need it. And here's some video of it happening. And this is what it looked like. We just set up in a parking lot, and people came. You saw that child just wearing a hoodie in this winter.
Right.
How did it make you feel to see all those people knowing that they could find help here?
Ironically, a warm feeling, a good feeling that we could make this happen, and that was part of the reason that I wanted to do this sort of pop-up event in a downtown location where we were visible and we were easily accessible to people that might not be fully mobilized to get all around or might not be aware of all of the different outreach services. So that it was right there, you could see it downtown, you could walk up, you could see the coats, you could interact with people, you could pick out your coat, because it was just part of that ethos of inclusion that we wanted to have here, that it's everyone's problem and we're all working together, and there's something about meeting the person and shaking the hand and helping pick out mittens, and it was just a really rewarding and heartwarming experience.
And in talking, and we were both there, and we saw all of the people coming up who were either, they didn't have jackets, or some of them were wearing short sleeves, and I just think, I mean, that shouldn't happen.
I was surprised and shocked that people were wearing the things that they were wearing, and everybody was shivering and teeth were chattering, and it really underscored the need that this is like something that needs to be happening, and we need to make sure that we're keeping all of those donations circulating, because there are a lot of people out there that are very cold. And when we were out there for just somewhere between the second and the third hour, like it becomes actually painful and numbing, and so I can't even fathom or imagine the experience of somebody that's the day-to-day, the night-to-night. So the need is real. One
of my favorite parts of that is, talking with the people, and, obviously physically we need a coat or we need to keep warm, but just like the emotional reaction, one person said, "This makes me feel appreciated." And you can't measure that type of response in words or anything. It's wonderful.
And that's why that experience at the library outside was amazing, because there was so much human interaction and so many people talking and being thankful and interacting, and it's hard to put into words, but it was really heartwarming.
And I mean, we still have a lot of work left to be done, because we are going up to New Year's Day, and we have a lot left to do. There's some of our information, but Nikki, we have so many other needs, and one of the things that we really need has to do with size of things.
Right.
So what are you saying that we still need?
I think definitely we saw that there was a need for extra large and extra large male apparel. We definitely need more male things and large male things, and then also the extra large ladies. So larger sizes for both genders, specifically men, and then we did get a few boots and things like warm weather foot apparel, and so if there were more of those, people would love that. There were a few kind of snow suits and like work suits, kind of something that you would wear to hunt or work outside, that seemed very warm, that people were really excited to get. Also, like very warm, like winter work socks.
Yeah, like the heavy duty stuff.
Definitely the stuff that is extremely warm. Like that's what the need is for.
All right, well, we have to wrap it up now, but and St. Francis House has played a big part of this, getting the things out. So it's a great partnership with all of us.
St. Francis House has been truly instrumental in doing all the transportation and coordination, and then everybody at Lewis, everybody at KELO. Yesterday we had a bunch of volunteers from Wells Fargo. So it's just been this synergistic, like grouping, everybody coming together to help.
It's a great thing. Well, we have to get going, so you can find out more about today's topics online at KELOLAND.com. Just click on the Inside Keloland section. Join us every Sunday following the 10 o'clock news right here on KELO-TV. That's all the time we have for today. Be sure to join us again next week for more on what's going on inside Keloland.